lesson 7-7, we're going to find the lateral and total surface areas of prisms and cylinders. So surface area is kind of referring to like the wrapping paper, or maybe even like the paint on a wall, wrapping paper of a present, paint on a wall. We're covering the surface. So let's go ahead and move on here. L refers to like the lateral area. So if we were to look, here, this area here would kind of be the lateral area all the way around. And then obviously you have your rectangle on top and the rectangle on the bottom, and that would be your area of the bases. So your surface area, your total surface area is surface area equals the lateral surface area plus 2 times the area of the base. Or in order to find the lateral surface area, we use the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So that's why they say here, in essence, L equals capital PH. This formula right here is the one that you will be given to use for your MCA. So I'll be using this one and referring to that formula right there. So in order to find surface area, I usually use SA rather than just S. We need to find the perimeter. So we would have 15 plus 9 plus 15 plus another 9. So I can go ahead and jump on my calculator for that. And really what we're going to have is 15 times 2 plus 9 times 2. So our surface area here, our perimeter of our base is actually 48. And now our height is going to be this right here, which is 7. And then we need to do 2 times the area of the base. Well, the base is going to be a 15 by 9. So 15 by 9. All right. So now we kind of have everything plugged in, so we can go ahead and multiply. So I have 48 times 7, and that gives me 336. So my surface area is 336 plus, and then I can do 2 times 15 times 9, that equals 270. And then we can take 270 plus 336 to give us 606. So our surface area of this solid is actually going to be 606 millimeters squared. Okay, and again, the reason why I like to do SA rather than S is because the A reminds me that I'm finding area, which helps remind me that I need to have square units at the end. So this 336 represents my lateral area, so all this around, and the 270 represents the area of the bases when I add those up. Okay, so now when we're looking at a triangular prism, it gets just a little bit trickier because we actually have triangles rather than parallelograms as a base. So again, we'll start the same way. We have surface area equals. Now I have to find the perimeter. So perimeter of my base would be my triangle. So I need to find out how far it is all the way around. Well, it looks like this is a 5. And it looks like this distance right here is a 6.3. So to find the perimeter here, it might be easy to kind of write it down. If I say like perimeter equals, well, I have a 5 plus, so this 5. This is what, 6.3. And since it's a tent, I'm assuming this is an isosceles triangle, plus I have an altitude coming down here at a right angle, which tells me that this is also equal to 6.3. All right, so I could go ahead and add those up to find my perimeter. So I had 5 plus 6.3 plus 6.3, so a total of 17.6. perimeter is 17.6. Now I need my height, which is this 5.8 right there, plus 2 times the area of the base. Now, if you remember, to find a triangle, I'm going to have 1/2 times the base, which is 5, times the height, which is 5.8. All right, so now we kind of have all that filled in. Now we just need to jump into our calculator to get some calculations done. So I have my 17.6. I'm going to multiply that times that height, 5.8. That gives me 102.08. 102.08. Now, I'm not going to round anything at this point. You leave it as 0.08. So plus, we're going to do 2 times 0.5. Just because I'm typing in my calculator, I can go ahead and convert that to a decimal, times 5.8. And so I'm going to have 29 there for my area of my bases. And now I need to add that to my lateral surface area, 29 plus 102.08. That gives me 131.08. Now, if we were going to round to the nearest tenth, now I can do that. I can do 131.1 feet squared. And that would be my answer to the nearest tenth. All right, so when finding the surface area of a cylinder, you basically use the same formula here. We have surface area equals 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. And remember that the perimeter is equal to the circumference. Okay, so circumference is 2 pi r, and then we have h. So really our formulas don't change, and for the MCAs you're not going to be given a different formula. Okay, it's really the same thing, except for the perimeter now in this case is the circumference of a circle. So it says find the lateral area and surface area of the cylinder, round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so let's do the surface area of everything all together. So I'm going to take my circumference, circumference times h plus 2 times the area of the base. Okay, so surface area equals my circumference. Here I have my diameter, so I'm going to do 5 times pi, or d pi, times my height, which is 2. Okay, so I have 5 pi times 2 plus 2 times now my base. To find the area of my base, I'm going to have to find the radius, which is 2.5, and I have to square that because it's pi r squared. So it's this times pi. So pi r squared is my formula for area of a circle, and I have 2 bases, so I got to multiply by 2. All right, so let's go ahead and get some calculations done. This is going to get a little messy because we have pi involved. So I'm going to do 5 times 3.14 times 2, so 31.3 there. And then I'm going to do plus, and we can take 2.5 times 2.5 times 2 times 3.14. Be 39.25. So my surface area of the lateral area is 31.3. Surface area of my 2 circle bases is 39.25 for a grand total then of, I'm going to add 31.3 to get 70.55. And round at the nearest tenth would be 70.6 meters squared. Okay, so it's just a matter here of plugging in the numbers in the right spots, carefully doing your calculations, and then at the very end, rounding to the nearest tenth. All right, similar problem here. They want to do a label. It says find the area of the label on a can of juice. So really here, we don't need to know the basis, because if you think about a can of juice, we don't put a label on the very top and the very bottom. It's just around the outside. So we just need to find the surface area of the circumference times the height. We don't need to do the basis. So this kind of makes it a little bit easier for us. You gotta, you have to take a look at what the question's asking. So circumference is, in this case, we can use the diameter, 4.5. So I do 4.5 times pi, d pi, times the height, which is 8. All right, so surface area equals, and at this point we just have to crank it through the calculator. So 4.5 times 3.14 times 8, 113.04. And round to the nearest tenth, we say surface area equals 113.0 inches squared. Now, in this case, you do want to include the 0.0. It shows me that you are rounding it. You're, in fact, rounding it. If you just said 113, that would be an exact answer, which, in this case, it's not. So 113.0 would be correct. All right, so now when referring to the surface area of a pyramid, we say that it's a half the area. And the reason it's half is because if you think about the surface area of a prism, we would have rectangles. So if I had, a rectangular prism, my faces are going to be rectangles. And now in a pyramid, my faces are triangles. Well, in order to find the area of a triangle, we do area equals 1/2 times base times height. So it makes sense that we need to do half of the perimeter times the lateral height. This cursive L stands for the slant height, or this slant height here. We call it an altitude of the triangle also. So our formula here can be found using this. We have surface area equals 1/2 times perimeter of the base times the slant height plus the area of the base. Now notice we're not multiplying by 2 anymore because we don't have 2 bases. A pyramid only has 1 base. Alright, so it says find the lateral and total surface areas of the triangular pyramid. So we'll just go ahead and start to find the total surface area. So we need to find the perimeter. So we'll do 1/2 of the perimeter times slant height plus the area of the base. Notice again, we only have 1 base. So surface area is going to be half, and let's do the perimeter. I see that we have a 5 here. This is also a 5, and this is a 5. So we have an equilateral triangle. So I can go ahead and just go ahead and say 15. We add those. Now the slant height is 8. Okay, this is the slant height right here, plus the area of the base. Now the base is a triangle in this case, so we have to do 1/2 times, but actually here, it actually tells us the area of the base. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier for us. So we're just going to say plus 10.8. All right, so now we go ahead and type this stuff in. If you wanted to, you could just take half of 8, which is 4. 4 times 15 is 60. So, you may not need calculators for all this. So we have 60 plus 10.8. And so our surface area is going to be 70.8 inches squared. Okay? So that would be the surface area, total surface area of the triangular pyramid. So toys, a toy block has the shape of a regular pyramid with a square base. So the manufacturer wants to paint the lateral surface green. How many square centimeters will be painted green? So they just want the lateral surface area. We don't need to worry about the area of the base. So we're just going to do surface area. It's going to be our perimeter times our lateral height. And that's it. So surface area is going to be, and we know it's a square, so we can do 4 times 7, or just 28. Also, I forgot, we need to have 1/2 because these are triangles, right? So we have half. So 4 times 7, and then we're going to do the lateral height, which is 8. So again, you're doing a half of something, so take half of one of your even numbers. So half of 4 is 2, okay, and then we have 7 times 8 is 56, and 2 times 56 would be 112. So we have 112 centimeters squared would be our total lateral surface area. Again, we're not including the area of the base because it didn't want that. It just wants to paint the lateral surface green. Okay, and that takes us to the end of our lesson. So there's a bunch of new formulas for us to keep in mind. Make sure that your notes are well organized so that way we can maneuver through all of those different formulas when working on a test.